Imagine stepping into the lobby of 220 Central Park South at 3:17 a.m. on a January night in 2026. Marble floors so polished they reflect the single low-wattage sconce like black water. Your footsteps make no echo. The acoustic engineers tuned the space to swallow sound. You ride the private elevator to the 66th floor. The door opens to 7,000 square feet of glass and stone. But the owner isn't there. They haven't been photographed entering or leaving this building in 18 months. The residence exists as a perfect alibi, occupied on paper, empty in reality. This isn't neglect. This is presence engineered as absence. In 2026, a quiet migration has solidified among those with net worth above $500 million. The pattern first appeared in late 2024 among founders who exited second or third companies, people who had already tasted public liquidity events and the permanent spotlight that follows. They began restructuring not just assets, but visibility itself. The common belief holds that wealth amplifies presence, more invitations, more followers, more mentions. Yet the opposite has proven truer at the top. Publicity became the cage, anonymity the key. Family office advisors now include reputation architects whose sole brief is reduction, shrinking digital footprints, rerouting public records, leasing properties under layered LLCs that lead nowhere. This video explores the deliberate disappearance, how the ultra-wealthy purchase the rarest commodity left in a hyper-connected world, the ability to be forgotten while still living fully. Walk through Monaco's Fontvieille district at dawn. A 2,800 square foot apartment occupies the top of a nondescript residential tower built in 2009. No concierge in livery, no doorman in black. Entry requires a palm scan tied to a rotating biometric ghost account. Inside, Carrara marble runs seamless from floor to wall, veined so subtly it reads as quiet breathing. The owner, a former hedge fund manager who closed his last position in 2023, maintains 3 such residences across Monaco, Singapore, and Lisbon, each under 3,000 square feet, each registered to unrelated entities in the Caymans or Jersey. He rotates quarterly, never announcing travel. His calendar shows only residence maintenance. Friends who knew him in the 2000s now assume he relocated permanently to New Zealand. They are wrong. He lives 10 minutes from Casino Square, walks the same streets they do, yet remains unseen. The apartment contains no art above $50,000, no visible brands, no staff during daylight hours. Cleaning occurs between 2 and 4 a.m. by a 2-person team who arrive and leave in unmarked vans. This is not frugality. It is camouflage perfected. Consider time in this arrangement. Freedom from scrutiny creates a strange inversion. Unlimited choice contracts into radical simplicity. Mornings begin at 5:45 a.m. with 22 minutes of box breathing on a tatami mat facing a blank concrete wall. No apps track the session. No journal records it. The owner then prepares black coffee using beans roasted 72 hours earlier in a micro-roastery in Shinjuku that ships vacuum-sealed and unlabeled. Breakfast is always the same. 2 eggs soft-boiled for exactly 6 minutes, 45 seconds. 1 slice of sourdough fermented 36 hours. The routine has not varied since 2022. Structure arrives not from scarcity, but from the knowledge that variation invites attention. Social media geotags, restaurant reservations, even casual conversations that might be screenshot. Discipline becomes the architecture that protects invisibility. Money operates here as invisible scaffolding. An evergreen trust disperses fixed monthly sums to cover the 3 residences: private aviation, always commercial first class under alias passports, and a network of 14 prepaid debit cards tied to separate banks in Switzerland, Singapore, and the UAE. No single transaction exceeds €9,999.99, the threshold that triggers most automatic reporting. Wealth no longer requires decisions. It requires only maintenance of the veil. The psychological shift occurs around month 14 post-exit. The adrenaline of being known fades, replaced by something calmer and heavier. The realization that attention was never neutral. It shaped posture, word choice, even dreams. Removing it reveals the self beneath the performance. Picture this: Singapore, Sentosa Cove, 11 p.m. A 4,200 square foot villa faces the marina but sits 1 row back from the water. Blackened cedar cladding absorbs light. Windows are triple glazed and mirrored on the exterior. From the dock, the house disappears into shadow. Inside, the owner, a tech founder who sold her AI company in 2024, sits in a 180 square foot study lined with raw linen panels. The only light comes from a single 2,700 Kelvin paper lantern. She reads physical books ordered through a proxy service in London that removes all packaging and delivers via bicycle courier to a neutral drop point. No Kindle, no Audible, no metadata. Her phone, when used, routes through 3 VPN layers and a dedicated Faraday pouch. She has not posted online since the acquisition closed. Former colleagues search her name and find only archived deal announcements. The trail ends there. This deliberate blankness allows something rare: unmediated experience. A walk through gardens by the bay at midnight registers as pure sensation: orchid scent, mist from the domes, the low hum of cooling systems, without the reflexive thought of framing it for others. The relationships shift most dramatically. Authentic connection becomes possible only when identity is decoupled from status. The owner maintains contact with 6 people worldwide: childhood friends, a former professor, 1 sibling, all under strict protocols. Conversations occur on encrypted burners replaced every 90 days. No video, no location sharing. Trust rebuilds slowly around what remains when titles and net worth vanish from the equation. Many in this circle report the same discovery: isolation was never the goal. Legibility was the burden. Removing the requirement to be known allows presence without performance. Yet the cost surfaces in quieter moments. Around month 22, a diffuse melancholy arrives. Not regret, but recognition that the self you protected may have atrophied in certain dimensions. Curiosity about others dims when you no longer need to navigate their expectations. In Zurich, Seefeld district, a 1,100 square foot attic apartment overlooks Lake Zurich but hides behind a mansard roof. The owner, a private equity veteran, spends winters here. He skis 3 mornings a week at 6:30 a.m. on Corviglia, always alone, always early. The lift operator knows him as Herr Müller. No one else does. He returns to read market reports printed on paper, delivered weekly in plain envelopes. No Bloomberg terminal, no alerts. Decisions happen quarterly, not daily. The freedom from real-time scrutiny creates mental bandwidth once reserved for social navigation. Yet it also sharpens awareness of mortality. When no one watches, time feels both infinite and mercilessly linear. Back in that 220 Central Park South penthouse at 3:17 a.m., the city glitters below, indifferent. The owner, wherever they are tonight, has chosen not to occupy the space they own. The lights stay off. The thermostat holds at 18.5 degrees Celsius. Dust settles in perfect stillness. They could fill every room with noise, guests, objects. Instead, they maintain emptiness as evidence of control. The ultimate luxury in 2026 is not accumulation. It is the disciplined art of subtraction until what remains is only what you choose, and no one else needs to know it exists.